So, I guess here we are again, looking at the big picture. The big picture being one thing, and one thing only. You know what that is? Making sure that you guys get it. See, I've learned that being creative is actually one of the most beautiful things that the evil man has ever allowed the good man to do. So while I creatively combat my enemies with the cuddly face of a panda bear that you look at while this is delivered to you, I render this. I say to you, does anyone find it suspect at all, just a little bit, that within the book of the Genesis, chapter 9, the man that is called Ham, the son of Noah, the father of Canaan, is said to have seen the nakedness of his father thereof? But when we go to Leviticus 19, I'd like to say, there is no mention of Ham, yet there is a mention of people who are supposed to have practiced a certain way of living. These people would be the Egyptians, and these other people would be the Canaanites, or Canaanites, as some of my brethren and sisters love to say. However, that is not important. What is important is that we all come to the fair conclusion that those are also the children of Ham. So, if they be the children of Ham, and their father practiced what we all know is homosexuality with his father, then we should all, well, be presumptuous to believe that this is a biological trait that has been passed upon these people from generation to generation. Also to be believed is that Mr. Ham imparted some of the first pieces of magic that we know about. Outside of Ham for a moment, has anyone ever pondered the thought that strange flesh in the book of Jude actually contends to satyrs and centaurs and fauns and cyclops and other freaks of nature, things of that measure? No? I was just asking because it was one of those things where strange flesh may have been the giants of the Egyptian days of old, but strange flesh surely had to have been things that just were not human. Period. Yes. Yes. You see, when I say not human, I also mean not an animal per se, an abomination, if you will. So, with that contended, Japhet is the father of the abominations, the consortium of abominations on this planet. He is the man who went and willingly amalgamated with them or allowed himself to be overtaken. However you look at it, travesty, complete travesty. And then we have our beloved, beloved, great, who knows how many times removed granddaddy Sim. You see, and he, uh, I guess there is always a punishment for being complicit, right? Because they were blessed, Sim and Japhet, for not being complicit to their father's degree. And I would have to say that Sim is the one who told his father, seeing that Sim was addressed first. Just one of those things. Just one of those things. But we should most definitely consider it. Yes, yes, we should. And we should also consider that there is a book of Japhet among the people of the Japhethites, and there is a book of Ham or Kam among the Hamites or the Kamites or the Kemites. I believe that this is only logical, and that there is a webbing of history that we have yet to understand. But in the history of my people, of my genetic sequence, the book of Sem, the Hebrew Bible, of the God of Abraham, who is acknowledged as the creator of everything, by all the other ones, so I would only contend to understand that the God of everything would have, I don't know, made itself known in all those cultures, i.e., the Egyptians, and i.e., the Romans and the Grecians. Yes, Hamites and Japhetites. See, when one doesn't get too far carried away, we actually can contend that these are things that, well, they all agree on one thing. They were afflicted by a force that they had never felt before, nor is it nor is it known by name on this planet. Yes, yes, I know. I'm running up out of time. See, this is going to be not very long. I'm only good for 5 minutes, but I decided that I would allow this piece of information to flow out of my head freely and unhinged. So, with this put forth and this voted, as I have said, because I did not reach and take or create, I simply took note of the fact that the Romans and the Grecians are people throughout the Hebrew text who have their own mentioning of the Hebrew people. The Romans of crushing the Hebrew people, the Grecians too in their own right, but they also have their own recollection of what would be the holy writings of the Hebrew people. Now, what kind of person does that with their own deities? The Egyptians, the same thing, when they monitored the Hyksos people, right? The banishing of the Hyksos and the exodus of the Israelites. It's the same thing. So, these Hamido-Shemitic and Shemitic people that are being spoken on throughout the word, as we say, these Japheto-Shemitic and Hamido-Japhetic people, whatever we call, I don't know what to call those bloodlines, but they exist, they're real. Um, this is why sometimes we don't know who we are looking at. Remember, at one time, the entire world did look the same. Everybody and everyone. I am putting this out there. I am working on the video. Should be done tonight, tomorrow morning. Look for me. All right. I'm out.